What we have in Minnesota is precious, it's extraordinary. What we have may slip away unless we're good stewards of the environment and do the right thing here in the next few months.
I think Americans always understood as part of the American dream that we wanted to leave more to our children than we ourselves inherited.
We have this opportunity now to start building the bedrock, and if we wait until it's too late, it's too late. So it seems to me that now is the time.
We're standing in front of the Mississippi River. It's a drinking water source for millions of people, hundreds of communities, but it needs a lot of help.
I think it's the one natural resource that we so clearly take for granted, because all we do is flip on a tap.
Minnesota has a lot of problems on the horizon with our water, our rivers, our lakes, and they're very important to us.
The longer we wait, the worse the situation is going to get. And it's also going to be more expensive.
Well, at this point in time, this is particularly urgent because the fact is we've only really tested 10% of our waters to really understand the water quality. Of those 10%, we're finding 40%, in some areas much higher, are actually impaired. That means they're not sustaining wildlife, they're not safe to drink or fish or swim in.
That's a cry for action. We need to get about changing that, and we need to do it soon. We're standing here at the Minnesota River, and it's one of the most polluted rivers in the country. Much needs to be done to address that problem. We need resources, financial resources, to accomplish that. That's why, for us, and more importantly, for my grandkids and future generations, we've got to begin now.
For myself, my children, my grandchildren, soon to be great-grandchildren, I am looking for them to have the enjoyment of Minnesota like I have had.
So how does it feel to look out over all of this open space here?
It makes it have a really wonderful feeling. It's really beautiful.
Bowen is a nature preserve. We own about 1,300 acres. We also have a program that goes back nearly 40 years with the St. Paul School District to bring kids out here from the inner city. And really, for many of them, it's their first experience in the outdoors.
The goal is to provide environmental education for every single third grader and every single fifth grader from the St. Paul Public Schools. So we have groups coming out every single day of the week.
Let's see, what is it? I think it's a great program for the kids. They get a chance to take what they've learned in the classroom and see it in real life, to actually apply what they've learned to the real world.
And so they really get to see all those things that make Minnesota what it is, all those elements of nature that really make Minnesota the land that we all care about. As good as things are now in terms of the water quality, in some respects right here on Bowen, we're definitely seeing signs of degradation, especially in the St. Croix River itself. And so we know that there is an urgency.
I'm an avid supporter of Yes for Minnesota because I see it providing opportunities for outdoor experiences for families, people of all ages.
The kids get to come and put their hands on things, and just the fact that when you stop and you listen, you can hear the wind rustling through the trees, you can hear the birds chirping. I mean, and there's a stillness and a peace that comes with that as well, and everybody needs to experience that sooner or later.
You want the front end or the back end? Oh. You get to have an end. When I grew up, we had a tradition of being outside. We would hike around ponds and in streams, and I wanted my sons to have that opportunity. We started going to 2, 3, 4 parks a year, and pretty soon we realized we'd been to 40 parks. So then we decided we'd go to all of them.
Our families visited 64 state parks and 3 additional recreation areas. Watching our sons grow up in the out of doors has just been great. It started out, I think, seeing a little 1 or 2 year old boy playing with fireflies by the campfire, to seeing a 18 or 20 year old boy being able to paddle a canoe well.
I'm extremely grateful that my parents had taken me out and had allowed me to have this great experience in the outdoors. And canoeing and camping and being in a tent and staying overnight, sometimes sleeping under the stars. And it's just really been fantastic that, that we've had this great resource.
We're so happy to have had that experience with them. And I just wish every family in the state of Minnesota could have the memories that we have with our kids.
Minnesota has given us just such a perfect environment and such beauty that it's really kind of our duty, our prerogative as citizens, as people, as humanity, to preserve it and to be able to share this beautiful experience.
And if we don't protect it now, for our generation, for future generations, you know, we will live to regret it.
There's a verse from, I believe it's the little yellow taxi, you don't know what you've got till it's gone, and we won't know what we have until it's gone.
What we have here is a natural treasure, and it's not going to stay that way by accident. So all of us have to step up, get serious about this. There's strength and power in numbers. All of us have a responsibility, a civic responsibility, I think a moral responsibility to do the right thing.
I think we have a great moment here. I think if all Minnesotans know what's at stake, they'll vote yes. When you're talking 4 cents out of your pocket when you buy something for $10. 4 cents to have a clean lake, 4 cents to have some wetlands back, 4 cents to have some wildlife habitat created, 4 cents. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
I think it is a small amount for Minnesotans to pay to make sure that we have clean water, habitat and forests, and that we continue our cultural legacy.
And this amendment is a way for the people of Minnesota to say, hey, we really want to take care of the outdoors and we really want to take care of the arts.
We've inherited such a wonderful land and Great Lakes and so forth. We have a responsibility to enhance it, not only to protect what we have, but to make it better.
And so we need to reconnect, recommit our values as Minnesotans to our natural resources so that all of our future generations will know that this was the year, 2008 was the year we put into our Constitution real dollars into protecting our great environment.
This fall, you will have a chance to protect the Minnesota you love by voting yes on the Clean Water, Land, and Legacy Amendment. Vote yes for Minnesota on your ballot this November 4th.